G'day folks, how's it going? I'm taking you up the back paddock to show you something. Don't worry, it's nothing weird. It's nothing weird. I want to show you the rig that we've been touring in. This episode, folks, is brought to you by Theodore Threads. Get your gear online now. So this here is my 2023 Mitsubishi Triton that we got through Cricks on the Sunshine Coast and then fitted out through Cricks 4x4. They were brilliant, so easy to deal with and very supportive of us. It meant a lot to us that those guys back us. So yeah, very grateful for Cricks on the Sunshine Coast here. Also, sorry, it's a little bit dirty. Literally got back yesterday from taking it to quite a muddy spot up here in the hinterland. So I'll start you up the back end of the vehicle. We have got the EGR Canopy, which has been really good. It's got sliding windows both sides, which suited us because we've got dogs. So it's good for airflow for the dogs. So the other thing about this canopy, which I'll show you in terms of airflow, is the positive pressure vent, which sits up at the top end. So that vent sits up there. See that? That just lifts up. So the idea being that the clean air comes in through the top, creating positive pressure inside the canopy and the tub, and then that forces air out, sort of holding dusty air from going back in through the gaps. Also helps to keep everything cool inside because, so you can see here, we need to keep things cool in here because we've got a nice big fridge in here. That is being run by a deep cycle battery inside this King's battery pack. I need to change this up. The battery's getting old. Slides out like so. This fridge has been brilliant. It's on a slide out drawer from Dometic as well, which also has little bench space, little cooking, computer, anything you want to use it for. Then what we wanted to do was sort of keep the rest available. You know, if I started putting drawers and shelves or, you know, putting things permanently in here, you start to lose the versatility of a ute, which is why I love touring in a ute. So for us, we've obviously got a 1-year-old, which means we're going to be putting a pram or kids' toys or, you know, floaties and life jackets and push bikes and everything that takes up space in a really awkward way can still fit in here nice and easy for us. That was a setup that works for us. Okay, so round to this side. This car is sitting on the stock rims that it came with. These are 18-inch rims, and we've got some Pirelli all-terrains on it, which have been really good. So I personally don't like to change the tyre size, particularly when towing. I like to keep it the same as what came out of the factory because I feel like they designed it with that size in mind. You know, the whole gearbox ratio, everything is designed to suit that size of tyre. It's the most efficient size that works for that car, hence why I wanted to keep the standard size. You know, a lot of people like going up with this size of rubber, and I get the purpose of that. I get that you get more rubber on the road when you're dropping your tyre pressures. You get more room between the ground and your diff. I get that. But for me personally, I'm not doing that much bloody rock crawling. I'm not doing that much work where basically if this car can't get me there, I don't want to go there. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with tyres. It's just my opinion. Under here, we're running a Tough Dog 2-inch lift, and this thing has plenty of play in it, plenty of flex. So we had this thing sort of maxed out because I knew that not only would we be carrying a fair bit of weight in the tub, but we had the ball weight of the caravan that we tow. So I mean, I tow various different caravans, but for us, we took away a Windsor Wild, which had a sort of medium ball weight. So you have to really do some maths around that as well, particularly when you're towing. You got to really keep in mind your GVMs, your GCMs, and do the maths, which the guys at Cricks helped me do, because maths is not necessarily my strong suit. Another thing I forgot to mention about this suspension actually is that yes, we had to max it out for weight capacity and sort of stability when towing and driving when loaded. It's also extremely supple and comfortable even when it's unloaded. I don't know how Tough Dog have done it. Normally when you've got really quite, strong, heavy springs, it can be like riding around in a go-kart when you go over potholes. But for some reason, this thing is really comfortable when unloaded and really stable and solid when loaded. Something really special about this suspension. Right, what else have we got? We have here the Front Runner roof rack. Now, if you haven't heard of Front Runner, go and look them up. They've got so much gear, lots and lots of gear. They gave us cargo boxes, water containers. They've got the work. Show you up here on the roof. So under here, you've got the table that slides in underneath here. As you probably know, when you're touring, particularly when you're camping, the table often is hard to get to because you tend to pack the table at the bottom of the tub because it's a flat surface to stack everything else on. And so a lot of the time you have to unpack a lot of the ute to get to the table. Not anymore. I really love this feature. It's got a sink insert here. So you put a collapsible sink in there. That slides out real easy. It's lockable so no one can pinch it. Also here are these Front Runner surfboard racks. So these are really easy. Actually, everything on this is really easy. It's literally just an Allen key. So they just fix on there with a couple of Allen key bolts under there. And basically the surfboards sit here, so you can adjust them. I could have them sitting here if I wanted, or move them around to suit. But then they've got their own sort of attachable clips here because they have these ripping elastic sort of flexi tie downs, which are unreal. So they clip onto that little bar there, tie over, pull it down, and so not only are they really secure up here, but I feel confident that they're not going to get damaged. I'm fairly precious with my boards. I like to look after my boards, and so I feel really confident they're not going to get damaged up here. This is really nice high density foam that they sit on. That's where they make contact. So yeah, they've been great. And over this side you can see we've got some Max Trax holders. Once again we had to think about, oh, where's the dog gone? Dingo, get out of there. Get out of there, come on. She's trying to swim in the dam. So for us, we again had to think about weight. There is only a certain capacity that you can put on the roof. And so for us it was like, okay, well, what do we want to put on? And so that brings me to the other side. So on this side of the roof, we put our Camp Boss awning. So this is, this folds all the way around to here. So it's, 180 degree. There goes my mats again. And it's freestanding. They do have poles you can put down if it's really windy, or extra tie downs if you need, but it is freestanding. So you fold it out and it holds itself up. There's also lights under here, underneath the awning, little strip light, sort of LED light strips. You can change the color of those. Obviously to keep bugs away, you flick the orange lights on. Under here is a little sort of special treat. I feel like Front Runner has fun when they design things, because here, a little bottle opener. Hilarious. The other thing actually I'll quickly show you on the other side is the handles. So once again, just Allen key. They go there. You can also get, Front Runner also make little lights that insert into here, which I think we might think about for next time. Right, now I'll take you around the front end. Okay, so obviously here we got a steel bull bar, which has been brilliant. Touch wood, haven't hit anything, but when you're out bush, especially some of the places we went, you don't really see people very often. So You don't want to hit anything or have any sort of prang that's going to damage the engine. You need to keep going. So that was fairly important to us. Obviously this light bar is great for us. We do pretty long hours. Sometimes with a 1-year-old, the best window for driving is while they're asleep. So that's what this is good for. Then obviously here, you see the snorkel. The other thing that's really good about the front end of this car is the steel bash plates. So no plastic around here. It's all really hard under there. I didn't hit anything. Luckily, there are a couple of close calls, but that's all solid. Right, now I'll show you through the inside. So this model has obviously the stripes, which I like. You know, at the start I wasn't sure, but to be honest, now I'm proud of the stripes. It also has some of this red stitching on the leather steering wheel, which I love. Nice decent sized display, Apple CarPlay, all that sort of gear, climate control. We have a rear diff lock here. We've obviously got the trailer brakes for towing, front seat heaters, different drive modes. So there's like 3 or 4 different drive modes in this: gravel, mud, snow, sand, I think. And then here is obviously hill descent, and then your different modes. With 4 high, which we're in right now, is the Super Select. So Super Select sort of allows you to change while rolling into 4-wheel drive, but it doesn't sort of really lock the central diff. It still applies power to the front wheels as well as the rear, but it means you can sort of do it while traveling. So they say up to about 80 k's an hour you can just flick up into 4 high if you sort of hit the gravel or, you know, hit the snow or sand or something. So this car is extremely comfortable. These seats are unreal. Like, we did some long hours in this thing, and my back is still intact. What else? Obviously baby seat. Another thing I love about these Tritons is they've got this, you know, when you jump in an SUV or a 4-wheel drive of some sort, and they've got the rear vents for the kids or whoever's sitting in the back seats, but they don't really push out much air. This thing cranks, so it sucks the cool air in, or the hot air depending on what you're running, through here, through its own fan, and then pumps it out here and here. And then they've got 3-4 different speeds they can run it at. So yeah, it's been really good. And then obviously here, this folds out. Bonk. Oh, Sam's left a little makeup wet wipe in there. That's okay, she's a busy gal. So yeah, love it. Charging port just there. The other thing that this car's got inside here is these paddle shifts, which are super handy, particularly when towing, when you're trying to downshift coming down a hill or slowing down. Found that really handy. You can also do it with this sequential shifter here. Click across, dunk, dunk, that easy. The other thing I really like about this car is the fact that you can switch off the stuff that beeps at you with the push of a button. You know, anything that's annoying you, like this, sometimes if you're close to something and you already know it but the car wants to tell you, you just push that and it turns off. I also run this quad lock mount for my phone, because when we're out of range you can't run regular maps. So I run the HEMA app on my phone, so we've got off-grid maps wherever we go. Couple of things that I love about Tritons. Number one, you cannot argue that this drive line is not tried and tested and bloody solid. This engine just wants to keep going. The gearbox, everything about the drive line is solid. It's gonna keep going. So I've owned a couple of Tritons in my life and have to say I've not had an issue with either. I've done a lot of kilometers, and a lot of them aren't easy kilometers. So yeah, I believe in the Triton. The other thing I wanted to mention was this thing has 360-degree cameras on it. So there's a camera up front, camera behind, and then 2 cameras under the side mirrors, which have been bloody brilliant. It means I can see how close we are to anything at any time. Great for four-wheel driving, great for trying to park in the garage. Now we are going to be shortly, unfortunately, well, fortunately and unfortunately, we're getting a new Triton, one of the new models, the 2024 model, which I'm pretty excited about. I've been waiting a long time to see how that thing drives. And let me tell you, it drives really well. It is getting built through Crick's 4x4. We're getting a lot of things added on, which we're very grateful for. We do sadly have to say goodbye to this ute. I have a pretty sort of emotional attachment to this car. A lot of good memories. So it is going to be sad to see it go, but we'll make some new memories. So this thing is the 2.4 litre with the 1 turbo, the new motor on the new Triton, the new gen, has 2 turbos. The new engine has a sort of, it's got a more immediate sense of power and more low down grunt. It's a much more torquey engine, which will be better for towing. So this thing had a 3.1 tonne towing capacity. The new one's got 3.5, which I think is brilliant. I'm really excited about it. I'm frothing. I'm sad because I love this car. I almost don't like talking about the other one in front of this one. But I'm quietly looking forward to the next one. Stay tuned because we will be building the new Triton very shortly. It's happening within the next few weeks. So I'm excited to show you guys. I want to do something a little bit different this time. I'm considering maybe not running a canopy on the back, which I sort of I toss up whether that's a good idea or not. I thought maybe just run the tub with an electric lockable roller shutter on top and then a rack from Front Runner on top of that. Don't know. I want to try it. I've always wanted to try it. I think there's pros and cons to both. Obviously the canopy gives flexibility to what you can throw in and lock up and it's sealed. But I like the concept of being able, like my electric bike that I've got from Cruiser just doesn't quite fit under the canopy. So I thought if I get the rack, I can sit the bike on top of the rack. Anyway, these are all things that I find interesting. Hopefully you find them interesting too. Stay tuned for the next build. I don't even know what colour the ute is. I'm excited to see what it is. Righto guys, thanks for watching.